Hello and welcome to the Patreon peek for my interview with Cedric. Now this video is only a portion of my full 1 hour conversation that I had with Cedric. If you would like to see the full interview, you can check it out over on my Patreon at patreon.com/angelcakevids. It is made available to the $3 and $5 tier patrons. When you sign up over on my Patreon for either tier, you will not only get access to this interview, you will also get access to loads of other Patreon exclusive content like weekly live streams, other challenge interviews, premium commentary videos, and challenge videos that are not suitable over here at patreon.com/angelcakevids, and much, much more. So again, if you would like to see the full hour-long interview with Cedric along with other Patreon exclusive content, please go check out my Patreon at patreon.com/angelcakevids. And now, on to the start of the video. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm excited to be talking with the #1 draft pick of the Challenge 41. Here is Cedric. Thank you for being here. How you doing?
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing amazing. Thank you for the dope introduction, first rounder. What can I say? I'm just playing.
My first question is, what was more surprising? TJ telling everyone that they have to run up and down a mountain to start the Challenge 41, or the AI reveal / competition to start Big Brother 26?
Oh, definitely Ainsley's reveal to start Big Brother 26. I think TJ telling us to run up the mountain was kind of like expected almost. Like, I'm not just going to come to the challenge and not do some challenges. So when we got there and it was like, here it goes. It starts again. But it wasn't as off-putting as there being 17 or 17,000.
How familiar were you about the challenge prior to coming onto this season?
If we're being honest, I was somewhat familiar. I had watched a few seasons before the interest had started, and I was like, this show is sick. It's like everything that I want to do. It's social, it's strategical, and it's like heavy competition. Which Big Brother is, I feel, more social structure and less competition until you get to the end, which, I didn't see. And the challenge is just kind of competitive through and through. So I was super excited about it. And then when I was finally afforded the opportunity, I went back and did my research for sure.
That leads into my next question of, like, you get the call for Challenge 41. How do you prepare to be on the show, and what kind of research do you do?
So my go-to research tool is YouTube. So I was on YouTube, like every challenge competition ever made, how to win, no videos. I was like, okay, best challenge seasons ever, video from like 8 years ago. I'm like, okay. Then I stumbled across your channel. I was like, okay, we got some good little niche in here. So I used your channel to study. I went back. I used some other YouTube channels to study. And then I went back and just watched previous challenge seasons and trying to figure out how everybody plays. Because I knew, I didn't know, but I could infer from the pattern of the challenges that it's not going to be a season of all rookies, right? So I was going to get some information on some people there and use that to kind of benefit my game in the house.
Sweet deal. I will take a little bit of credit, since you said you sell my videos. I'll take a little bit of credit of how well you're doing this season. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go, man. I appreciate it. Definitely gave you some tips and tricks.
As an audience member, I feel like we aren't seeing your full extent of the game or what you're doing inside the house leading up to episode 9 and everything. Can you tell me or tell us how, like, what strategy are you coming in with? Like, what kind of game you want to play / how does that change as you're going through the game and starting to meet everybody and being like, okay, now I know what the game is about.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree. My gameplay hasn't really been shown. I'm still like included in the episode somehow, which I appreciate. I love it. It's never anything strategic. But my gameplay coming into the season was, I'm going to play this hard. Anybody that wants to see me go home, they can go home. I'm keeping my feelings involved, because if you saw my Big Brother eviction, like, it tore me up. And I was like, I no longer can put other people before myself in these kind of challenge relationships. So going in, I was like, no sympathy. I'm a killer. And then I got there and I was like, oh man, I'm not a real killer. Like, dang. But also, I realized I had to kind of adjust my strategy from being like a main voice and a leader kind of quote in the house to pretending to be a follower, right? And I think that's the good thing with leaders is there's leaders and then there's leaders that pretend to get led. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you where I fit, but I'm not letting anybody else dictate my decisions. So going in, it was like very much everybody And our season kind of saved a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie. Like our season being attached to a lot of partners
Hmm.
saved a massive amount of the rookies, and I may have benefited from that just because of who they're attached to that week. But for example, right, love Leo. No diss to Leo. Leo standing up during the little voting, like during our jury meeting
Yeah.
or judgment, and being like, "Yeah, we got to send all the vets home, bro." In a real season, he would have been in the next elimination,
Yeah.
100%. So it kind of saves some people, but I realized too, there's a lot of big personalities that are making themselves a lot of big targets. So no one's gonna say my name if I don't give them a reason to, and that's kind of how I had to adapt the first half of my season up until where we at episode 9.
I do want to point out something, and I think it's one of your earliest and funniest moments is we saw you pretending to not be able to swim. Were people surprised when you competed in a swimming challenge and absolutely crushed it?
Yeah, a few people mentioned it, but they were like, "I saw you learn from my tips. Like you could really see you learn from me." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I learned from you, bro. Like, I appreciate all the help." And it's one of those things too, where everyone, this is gonna be super like kind of expository of me, but everyone was like, "Oh, that's such a great strategy," or some people are like, "That's stupid." But the people that were like, "Oh, that's such a great strategy," it wasn't even a strategic move in the sense of, I'm gonna downplay it. It was also like when I'm in the pool just messing around, people are like, "Hey, you need to do this, you need to do this." I'm not gonna be like, "No, I know how to swim, get kick rocks." It's still a social strategy game. So I have to kind of play into it. Like every decision, and I think a lot of people don't realize this, even still to this day that play the challenge, every decision, every conversation you have, every encounter you have with somebody, is stuck in their mind when it comes to judgment time. So if I, just for example, I was like, "Nah, I know how to swim. You guys suck at swimming. Thanks." Then they're like, "Man, Cedric's cocky. He's arrogant. He doesn't want to listen."
Hmm.
We go into voting. They're like, "Oh, we can send him in. Like, I don't care." Rather than being like, "I taught my little brother how to swim today."
Talking about your connections with people in the house, the challenge social media team kind of posted a clip of you and Gabe kind of getting into this argument. It's really tough to see what's going on or what's happening or what kind of led into that.
Yeah.
Can you kind of give us an insight of what happened or how this whole situation kind of spawned from the whole Anissa versus Ashley thing?
Yeah. So basically, Anissa and Ashley had their falling out.
You hit a major milestone on the challenge, the mini final. You get halfway through, you get to do the mini final. Leading up to the mini final, were like the challenge, like were challenge vets like mentioning it, telling stories about it? Were you kind of nervous about what you could see in the mini final?
Yeah, for sure. You have a lot of time in the challenge house, so those kind of conversations come up regularly, and everyone was like, I think I distinctly remember Theo and Aviv talking about their mini final in the desert. They're like, the mini
Hmm.
final suck, it's miserable, and everyone has to run it, so it's not even like a final, and nobody gets paid. Like, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be miserable, which you can already tell, and pretty much all the challenge we do are miserable, but that's the funness of the challenge, right? Especially for me. I love competition. I thrive in competition, and I love kind of the underestimating feeling that I have in all my competitions.
Hmm.
So going into the mini final, I was like more individual. I thought the season was just going to go individual after that, and I was kind of like, super excited for an individual season. But he was like, "This is the mini final. Are you guys ready?" And I was like, "Dang, I have to eat something." That's what got me. The eating, bro. Everything else is fine. Puzzles is fine. Running is fine. Endurance is fine. Climbing, whatever. Swimming, I'm cool
Hmm.
with. Eating, oh my gosh. I got eating nastiness. I can't stand it. It's like my least. Going into the challenge, that was what I was most worried about, was eating all this nasty stuff. But it was actually I think I gassed it up way more in my head. Like this is gonna really
Hmm.
kill us. So I was um kind of running it conservative for, which is why I kind of came in sixth place. If I'm being honest with myself, I was running it kind of super conservative because I thought it was gonna be way longer than it was.
Yeah.
So then when I got there, I was like, "Oh, it's cool. I mean, I lost some time on the eating, but I'll catch everybody at the end when everyone's like, oh, I'm tired. I'm gonna walk this run." And we just never. I don't think it was that distance to 6 miles wasn't enough to gas kind of everybody out. So I played it wrong, but it was a learning curve for sure.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because you, in the confessional afterwards, or the confessional that they showed afterwards, you seemed pretty
Mhm.
critical about your performance in there in the mini final, getting sixth place. I mean, there is
Yeah.
Cheatergate going on, but at the same time, you seem
Yeah.
pretty like frustrated. I mean, did the mini final, the way that you ran it, did it like make you realize something about your game, or maybe put in perspective of like maybe you should work on something, or that you maybe, like you said, kind of gassed it up a little bit more? Did you feel like, oh, I have this on lock, and when I thought it was kind of I was nervous about it?
Yeah, it kind of did almost all of those things. What it really did was open my eyes and be like, hey, look, you have gassed the in my mind, I was like, I'm kind of killing this season. I never really been below top three on the leaderboard. I was
Mhm.
first in points at some point in the season, you know what I mean? So I was like, you're killing this season. You're a probably top four, top five competitor in the house, mixed with everybody, like you're a top five threat in the house. And then to get sixth in the mini final was like, bro, you have some stuff to work on. You have some stuff to do. Like, you got to figure out how to eat better. You have to figure out how to pace yourself better. You know what I mean? Like, sixth is embarrassing to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not here to get sixth. I'm here to win. So for
Yeah.
me, it was a really critical point of self reflection. But it was needed. You know what I mean? Like, if you never do things wrong, you never learn how to do things right. So it sucked, but it's good. It was a good moving like learning curve for sure.
I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of moving part, but I have to ask, did you see anyone throw their onions or peppers or anything like that?
I didn't see anybody specifically, but I do remember I was like, how are these people eating and finishing so fast? Because like in the Marine Corps, you have to eat your food really, really fast. Like that's
Mhm.
just a normal thing, especially during boot camp. So I'm a fast eater. I'm not like taking my time leisurely eating this stuff. And I'm confused on how these people are finished. And I look to the bushes and like you said, there's like a whole onion, some peppers, some garlic. I'm like, what? What is going on here? Some people, I'm not going to name names, but some people on Twitter playing all high and mighty like they didn't cheat. Definitely cheated for a fact. So I don't know. It was crazy, and that's something too that kind of gave me a little bit of a vow of self confidence. I was like, if I would have left in third or fourth place, what I feel like I could have maintained third or fourth or even advanced my position. But
Mhm.
leaving 20 minutes, 30 minutes after people had finished eating was like a severe mistake. So Cheatergate kind of gave me a little bit of hope that I didn't suck super, super bad, that I only suck a little bit.
Yeah. And I
So,
totally respect your decision of not saying anything. I don't want to blow up your spot or get you in trouble with anybody. So I totally understand that. I did hear from a different podcast or insider info or anything that you did not care for the mantra from the vets of if you aren't cheating, you aren't trying. Uh, is that true? Did you hate that mantra?
I think it's very when you play these social and competition games, and I mean, there's life changing amounts of money on the line. The lines become blurred very, very fast. If you
Hmm.
have that "I'm not cheating, I'm not trying" mantra, because it's the generation that had it before you, and then the generation that had it before you. There's a certain line, there's certain ambiguity in the challenges,
Hmm.
and I don't care for it. I think if you're not good enough to win straight up, you shouldn't win. Um, that's just my thing because then it's giving you an unfair advantage. Like you're not the best, you're just the best at doing shady stuff. And this isn't like who could steal the fucking diamond. It's who can be challenge champion.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a really, really great point. At the end, TJ does say that there were a ton of cheaters. He asks anybody if they want to say anything. Nobody, of course, says anything. What is going through your mind? What is the vibe when TJ says that the whole thing is scrapped and we're just gonna not do anything with it and everybody just goes home?
I mean, I was like, okay. It didn't really affect me much. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm.
Will got the worst end of the stick out of everybody in our cast because he was leading the leaderboard for a really long time. He beat Yeremi up the mini final. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for him to not get first pick was like, dang, Will got played by it. So I think that's why he was the most upset out of everybody because he was the most affected. Rightfully so. If I lost my first pick because
Hmm.
everybody else cheated and I didn't, I would have that kind of same mantra like you guys all suck. So yeah, he's the one. But for me, it didn't affect me because Yermi and Will beat me up the mountain, and Yermi and Will were ahead of me on the points board. But nobody else beat me, so like it really didn't matter. I was gonna stay where I was on the board, regardless if we got points that day or not.
And it didn't really matter because you were going to be the first pick overall by
Let's go, baby.
I did want to ask about your and Michaela's like friendship, your chemistry with each other, because again, we haven't seen too much of you guys like talking in the house or how connected you are, but she
Mm.
seemed really, really solid on like, I want to pick Cedric. I want to keep my point total so I can get the person that I want, which is Cedric. Like, what is your connection in the house? And then when if the conversations of happening between you two when it's like, okay, I got first pick, and I'm sure you guys talked about like, would you be cool if I chose you? What do you think about that? I
Mhm.
want you as a partner. How are those conversations going?
They were going really good. I think a benefit to Michaela picking me, and if it was a line of things. The only person or the only vet girl in top three that said she didn't want to pick me was Anissa. So I was like, that's fine by me. She was gonna pick Jake, but Olivia and I had the conversation. No diss to Anissa, but like you don't. I'm not
Yeah.
forcing you to pick me. Olivia and I had a conversation where she was like, yeah, I really want to pick you. Well, let me clear this up. Insider scoop. Olivia and I had a conversation, and I was like, "Yeah, it'd be dope to be your partner." She's like, "It would be super cool to be your partner." Like, I'm heavily considered picking you. And I was like, "Cool." That was that. And then, but to get into Michaela, I think Michaela's good at recognizing gameplay. Like that's Michaela's strong suit. I think Michaela's strongest thing in the house, other than being an absolute unit of a competitor, is her ability to recognize and understand how different pieces are moving in the chessboard. That is the challenge. So she recognized the strength in that I was playing with my game, And Sydney, thanks Sydney, she gave me some props actually on a different podcast, and she was like, the two best guys in the house are Yeremi and Cedric. And the only benefit I had to really being over Yeremi was that people wanted to throw Yeremi in. Nobody was
Hmm.
like, I want to throw Cedric in. So it was just made. Plus, I was capable and am capable of doing everything that Yeremi does. Plus, nobody wanted to throw me in, so it was kind of like a no brainer ask for me.
Yeah.
In Michaela's eyes, which was super dope. And I have no objections to Michaela. She's clearly number one in the points board. We understand the game and play strategically, which I think is severely underrated in the challenge. And um, so I was excited for it. And that's and a testament to underrated games in the challenge is kind of my whole first half of this whole episode arc that we have. Like
Yeah.
this first half of the season up until the mini final is that I'm playing a very smart, very logical, very strategic game, which is why my name hasn't been said in any deliberation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't make for the best TV moments unless you like unless there's a key turn point for you being so good strategically, it's hard to kind of air strategic games.
Would you have picked Michaela if you would have got the first overall pick?
Yeah, I would have picked Michaela or Olivia had I got the first overall pick, and it was very contingent on how the season was going.
Mhm.
When if at that time, if I had number one pick and everything that I knew up until that point, I would pick Michaela still. So I was ecstatic. Like I got what I wanted, she got what she wanted, and it was kind of like a nice refresher to be like, hey, you're out of all the new threats, like the number one girl in the house wants to work with you. Let's go. And remember, Michaela's the number one girl in the house, not by a little bit. I mean, I guess by a little bit. I think she was what, like 8 points over Olivia at this point, or 6 points or something like that over
Yeah.
Olivia. But you have to remember, she threw the CT water challenge.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So there was more room for her to expand her lead. So it's not like she's, you know, debatably the best female vet in the house. It's like Michaela has established herself to be the best female threat or the best female vet in the house. And for her to be like, I want to work with you, Cedric, I think we can kill it was absolutely amazing. And I'm really excited for where our partnership will go. Not only did I feel like she could enhance my gameplay, but she can enhance my character. You know what I mean? A lot of
Hmm.
people, and she actually said something really, really sweet when we did the thing. She's like, I want to pick my partner on, I don't remember the whole speech, but she's like, I want to pick my partner on, willingness to be with me, character, and faith. And I was like, that's so dope. Thank you, Michaela. So then she picked me, and I was like, this is sick. And not now, Michaela is one of those people that hasn't done the game for a while, but still has a lot to offer and a lot to learn from. And so it's super dope. And she's a cool person. Like Michaela and I still talk to this day. We're really good friends, I would say. So it was cool to be a partner.
Speaking of bonds and coming up with connections, this episode, I almost forgot about it. This episode, you're in the closet with Turbo, and he wants to come up with a plan for you, him, and Yeremi to all work together. that kind of came out of nowhere, it felt like. How close are you with Turbo and Yeremi at this point? And were you making a deal one to like say 100%, or were you kind of being like, okay, yes, because I'm not going to say no to Turbo in this like closed
Yeah,
state?
so this was a situation that was really hard for me to navigate actually. Face value, it seems super simple, like work with Turbo 100%.
Mhm.
But there's more that goes into this. So
We're wrapping up on the hour. I do want to ask if or like when, I'm going to say when you get called for the next season of the challenge, to do your next season of the challenge, what can we expect you to have worked on, or what can we expect from you heading into your second season that maybe you didn't think to work on or didn't really prepare yourself coming into your rookie season?
well, God and production willing, yeah, I would work on, I think the the level of puzzles kind of was
Mhm.
different for me. I'm good at puzzles, but then when you see them kind of in front of you, like I actually just ordered a bunch of stuff. But I have to make like a challenge board that is like all encompassing with your hands, because I can do puzzles on my phone, but it's different. Like you on
Mhm.
your phone, you can see everything at once. On a board, you kind of have to like look for certain pieces and then adjust certainly. Like
Yeah.
Sudoku with Kara, I'm good at Sudoku on my phone because I can see everything. But when I have to like look for the board and sixes look like nines and it's like all a mess, then that's something I need to work on for sure. I think a benefit to me coming back and doing the other season, for however long I was in the running for challenge champion this season, I had discretion. Like you couldn't, nobody could tell me something and then run and tell somebody else that I told them that.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, everything that somebody tells me is a benefit to me and I can use it. So the more people that tell me things, better benefits my game. But it also is like a safe haven, because if you tell me something, I'm not going to run and tell somebody else.
Yeah.
I've proved that if you trust me, I can trust you. Like, you know what I mean? So there's plenty of advantages that I've proved this season, um, to why I would be somebody to work with in the future of the challenge. And then there's plenty of things that I realize I have to work on, like tangible puzzles and probably early social game.
Well, I think that you have been doing an incredible job so far, and you have not been put in the line of fire. You have not put yourself in the line of fire, whether it is arguments or coming in last place or even coming close to last place. Like, you've been doing a really solid job, and now that you're partnered up with Michaela, it just feels like, what can stop you? What can stop you? But I'm hoping that we'll see you continue to your challenge journey, not just on this season, but in the future seasons and everything. And it's been really great to get to see you on the challenge, as I didn't really watch the Big Brother season. So I was like coming into this being like, okay, what can all these players do? And you've just been absolutely incredible. I wish we could see you more in the edit, but hopefully now that when there's double eliminations and more opportunities, we'll be able to see your game, your strategy kind of blossom and everything as the season goes on for however long you're on the season. And yeah, I just hope to see you very, very soon on back on the show. Before we move on, I do want to give you a point to shout out your social media or where people can find you, shout out any projects that you want people to check out or look for in the future. Let the people know.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. And then to get into my social media, my Instagram is officially CED, so officially said. My TikTok is said talk. I don't ever post on there, so it's probably not worth going to check it out. But if you want to, go ahead. My Twitter is officially said. I don't know. Instagram is what I'm most active on. Twitter's officially said. Yeah, go look out for a clothing brand dropping soon. So there's that.
Oh, sweet deal. Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely
Yeah,
keep an eye out on that. That came out of nowhere. I was very excited for that.
right. Thank you so much.
But thank you again for stopping by and taking time out of your day. You're traveling and everything, so I just really, really appreciate you taking the time to sit in your hotel room in the middle of the day on a bright, sunshiny day to talk to me about the challenge. This was very awesome to get to know you. And like I said, hopefully we'll be able to connect in the future, as well as see you continue to compete on the challenge, not just this season, but in the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time out to interview me. Man, out of all the people in the world, you chose me. So I appreciate you.
Thank you again, and have a great day.
You too. Bye.
All right.